better place.
With Mutabaruka, we are listening to our amends. You know here, continent, the end.
REFM, thought-provoking, always smoking, lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
Jana RFM, taking you way back. Yes.
Been rodders, midnight, that scale was very bad. So we went one night to my sider's room, but here he nearly met his doom. And when my cider
Parrot that was around, nearly lose my life at Spanish Town. Through a talking parrot that was around, but a married woman's home I stole a chance. The man came while we were in romance. As he rushed in the house, the girl rushed out, and in the heat of the excitement, this parrot shouted, "Hey, Danny, a man inside. Search well, he gone and hide. Danny, search all about. For a fella went inside, he ain't come back out. Well, friends, it's now excitement start. The girl rushed out to the parrot. She said, "Pretty, what's wrong with you?" The parrot shout out, "You know it's true." And just as the husband smelled the rat, got smart by the words of the parrot, who was inside me house selling. Before she answered, the parrot shout out again, "Hey, Danny, a man inside. Search well, he gone and hide. Danny, search all about. For a fellow went inside, he ain't come back out."
Interlude of way back. Yes. Jamaican music from them time, them call it Mento. Well, not last one, them not call it last one Mento, but the other one, them from we start the program to now, them says Mento music. I don't know where the word Mento come from, but as some me get it, as some me get it. And Mento, them call it from them time, they before ska, before rocksteady, before reggae, before dancehall music. You understand? So you can say a long time it a come. So them music, they set the pace for where we say a go on, you know. Only for them man, they will sing them tune, them pass away and thing, and nobody not really give them no big kiddos still. Yeah, hear about Lord Flea and, you know, Bassett and all them man. There years ago we interviewed him on this program, yeah, where we did upstairs. And Mr. Chin living in Canada. I don't know if him still there about there now. But very interesting how the music set itself in the same, what we call sexual innuendos. In those times, sexual innuendos was part of the fifth play and the fourth play of these artists from them time there. Where did the naughty little flea go? You know, them where they, yeah, one name Night Food. Wonder what they call, I never played that one, I should have played Night Food. Man, I talk about Night Food, a serious thing that. But we see them celebrate, I don't know, them still a night, them stop celebrate now. This is Heritage Week, or Heritage Month. I say, my brethren up at university, I try and make it into a month, which it possibly could have been a month, but the problem we have with it is that I don't hear nothing about Africa in the whole scheme of the thing. You know, they talk about Jamaican heritage, like heritage. We can't mix up heritage and culture, do we know? We stop mix up heritage and culture. You understand? Because when we see a palaver about the place, it's Jamaican culture. You see, it's Jamaican culture, we say, them recognize in at this time. In terms of the heritage, which is African heritage now, where the majority of people all. We see them show some things on TV, and as slavery again, them started. You know, see, the development of Africa. We're tired to tell them, you know, slavery is not African history. You understand? Slavery is not African history. Slavery broke Africa's history. So we know Africa really piece it back together and make people realize about what you know. We never come here as no slave. When we come here, them turn we in a slave. Because you did have some serious prince and chief and all them people upon them boat there, you know. Yes. Nanny. Them say Nanny was one. Them say Taki. Bookman. The man did have some highest prestige in Africa. We see them talk about national hero. They never mention nothing about Taki. Taki, Sam Shaw, Paul Bogle. They mean the same kind of bracket. So when they talk about national hero, Taki is one of them hero they were. I don't know how long they're going to take to recognize certain things still. But I guess it's a slow process in connecting certain of our legacies. When these people choose and refuse and choose and refuse. But Taki is deserving of national hero. If Paul Bogle is a national hero, why not Taki? If Sam Sharp is a national hero, why not Taki? Because all of them was fighting for the same cause. Same cause. So we have to recognize how important it is that we have a school in this parish named Taki High School, you know. We go there already, go talk to the youth them. But most of them don't even know the history of Taki leading the most massive slave rebellion in Jamaica. We stretched from St. Mary to Westmoreland until he was sold out by some people called the Maroons. And speaking of the Maroons, I know a lot of people don't like you when me say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think the Maroons in Jamaica should declare an apology to we, the field slaves, who they sold. And why I say sold in a very serious way, because them sign a peace treaty with the British to capture we. I mean, I talk about me, you know. Now I work again. And it's long time we are telling them this, and them feel say it's something we have against the Maroon them in Jamaica. But until the Maroons in Jamaica recognize that them four parents did something wrong, me nah go big them up like said them is the chief instigator of rebellions in Jamaica, because every rebellion in Jamaica was quelled by the so-called Maroons. And the Maroons are going like say, them is a different race of African people. You hear people that talk about Maroon this and Maroon that and Maroon that, and my father was Maroon and my brother was Maroon and everything like say Maroon. It's the same African people them, it's just that them end up in the hills and sign treaty with the British. And one part of the signing of the treaty was to capture runaway slaves like me. Yeah? So, me now go ease up off of that, the call there, you know. All you hear, man, I talk about Maroon this and Maroon that. Me not one of them where I talk about Maroon this and Maroon that. Because me know you none of the Maroon them come out and I say, boy, it's a terrible thing. Because me hear some African chief in Ghana come out and say, boy, them apologize for certain things and certain things. Me know you no Maroon chief and Maroon, whatsoever them call themselves, come out and say, well, you know, say, cause you do a serious thing or whosoever in the other part, the Portland, because years ago, Lord Portland come to Jamaica and these Maroon so-called go sign back the same treaty with them sign. I tell you the Rasta. Black people, we're naive, you know. We're naive to the point of stupidity. Because a white guy come here who is descendant from the same Portland, who them name Portland Alpha, and some Maroon guys go sit down with him and then present to get there again the treaty, and the guys them just sign that without even evaluating and reconciling, say, well, watch out now. You say our 4 parents, them just sign it a certain way now. We not going to sign it again that way there. So the Maroons is seen in Jamaica as the backbone of rebellion in Jamaica. Yet still, we know and we understand that it is the Maroons who capture Taki. Because the places where Taki and Paul Bogle and all these men could have go. It's only Maroons could have go there and go do what them do. So, we now make no apology to people who don't want to apologize for wrongs that they did us in slavery, knowing that they were also slaves to the Europeans, to the British specifically. And when man like Taki go out there and say, watch out, freedom for all, you know. Freedom for all. The British guy, them just come and say, hey, we can't allow that, you know, Rasta. Don't sign treaty with if we capture back one. So one of them bad one there, Taki, them just capture that guy and just cut off him and put it on a stick. Taki is a national hero. Paul Bogle, a Maroon again, capture him. Maroon, Paul Bogle ball out, black for black, color for color. And what them do? Them capture him and do hang him. Sam Sharp, Nanny, who we are told went to our brother, a compound. Because now we wonder if you know, there's a one name a compound, you know. It's a person name a compound. That the place was named after a person. And we are told that after Nanny got to them and said, no, we're not signing nothing with these guys. I don't know if it's true she's a woman. Them just overpower and just sign that and she go back over, clear over back in Portland there. And have to do likewise. Kwaku, the man who them catch him short and couldn't catch him. A whole heap of things. A whole heap of things. So, we don't know how much ones I listen to it, but this is not IRFM attack, this is Mutabaruka attack on the cutting edge. We are saying, we are demand that the people them who declare themselves the Maroon community, who is self-governed in Jamaica, that them have them own government inside of a government. We are demand that the people them who is chief and the people them who is this look back on the history of the Maroons and realize Taki was a mistake. Even the signing of the treaty was a mistake, I would say. Because the battle was too heavy for the British. It was too heavy for the British. Them couldn't go inside that Jankro Mountain, Blue Mountain. Them couldn't go in a certain mountain area, mountain region. So them have to come to some agreement with some of the people them who run way up in that mountain there. Them Maroon themselves. And now we see people I go like say them is different from the majority of slaves. We are. You must have married outside of the Maroon community. All them kind of thing they hear people attacking the Rasta. It's like it's a different race of African. We want to tell the people them say the Maroons and you is not different. Don't make no one put that in your brains. Like say the Maroon them is a different set of African from the African them upon the flatter. So a different kind of African. And the same African come on the same boat. Some run going at the mountain and stay up there. Some dead on the flat. Because you have a whole heap of ones who stay on the flat and fight for this. Like Taki. Taki fight for this. burn down plantation from St. Mary to Westmoreland. And them have to rain in some maroon to say, boy, right now him too hot. We have to go find a way to get him, and them just use some maroon and just capture Taki, cut off him head and put it on a stick. Cause them afraid of them man there, you know. Them man there so hobby man. And that them afraid of, you know, hobby man. All of the chief them, inside them have some spirituality that have pushed them. If you look on all of the leaders them for the slave uprising them in Jamaica, them have something push them spiritually. You have the man called Paul Bogle who lead this this Morant Bay Rebellion, who was a deacon in a church. Well, people don't know, say, some of the biggest rebellions both here and in the Americas, as we would call it, including America. Some of the biggest rebellions against the slave master and the plantation was planned in the church. A lot of the spiritual, what them call hymns, that you hear black people sing, what them call it black spiritual, was designed not to praise Jesus, but to mask the intention of liberation and freedom from the plantation and the slave master. When I ask someone that, we tell you that. See, a lot of the gospel music that black people sing, especially in America, was designed in the church to send out messages, subliminal message for liberation and freedom from the plantation. That is why all of them is played on the piano and the black key. Every gospel music that was designed by our ancestors in slavery days, every song about Jesus was only played on the black keys on the piano. That is historical. Go check a pianist and tell him must play one of them black spiritual music where you hear a sing from America, and tell him to play it on the piano and say if I'm not pure black gamer player. So there is a science about it that will lose. All upon the ship will create intentions upon the ship. All upon the ship will create intention. The liberation struggle start upon the ship coming across the Atlantic Ocean, where the bones of our mothers and fathers and children is still lying there. So Taki is a hero. Taki burn down plantation from St. Mary to Westmoreland. And in at this time when them call National Heritage Week, I, Mutabaruka, this has nothing to do with IRFM. The views here expressed does not represent IRFM. But I, Mutabaruka, I call upon the Maroon community to declare themselves in this time of reparation, repatriation, redemption. We are called upon the Maroon. What is their stand on all of these things? What are the Maroon stand on reparation, repatriation, and liberation for African people, those at home and those abroad? Marcus Garvey, Africa for Africans, those at home and those abroad. What about the apology that is long overdue? Every year them celebrate Kojo birthday, and the year them start about the signing of the peace treaty. Who was the peace treaty having peace with? Because that did not stop the people them on the flat for burn down plantation. That did not stop Paul Bogle to start a riot in a Morant Bay. Or that did not stop Sam Sharp for rebel in a St. James, only to be captured and crucified. So we are saying, we are declared that tonight, yeah. Because we are declared for years now, and we still not hear none of them. None of the, what them call them? Chief, I know chief them call them. Something them call them. Them vote every year. We don't hear none of them come out and I say nothing. We don't hear never talk about African liberation, really. We not raise no war against no Maroon because them could have captured me. We could have started to use war against Maroon. Them just come capture me with IRF. But we are saying it's a very important aspect of the history that's supposed to seal up. Truth and reconciliation is very important to the movement and the progress of a people who was domiciled on this farmer slave plantation island called Jamaica. And if Rasta there so, I declare Africa for Africans. I will not left out no African. And we not go capture no African for go get to know British. We not go capture no African for go get to know French. And we are say the Maroon them still a capture African because them sign back up I don't remember which year. I should ask Andrea Williams which year Lord Portland did come here and the man them sign back the something in a Rasta. Let me say, wow, is ignorant, them ignorant are just dumb and stupid, them stupid. Them don't even make no adjustment to the treaty. That means if it was to happen again, all a man like me might head it upon a stick. In the Migla sentence be here so. Rebellious field slave. Shango, the rebellious field slave. God of thunder and lightning. In the Yoruba tradition. Santaria. Oladume. Calling upon all your rishas. We are man free if you call upon the high priest Taki, the medicine man, the bush doctor. Them can't take that. So them all just outlaw all of those little African things. Over people never even know say African people in a slavery, the woman them can't row them here. They make can. You think it's on the drum that it make illegal? Because the drum talk. And me experience that in a Cuba with some African. Because me always hear about talking drum. It's a little drum will look like a large oversized hourglass. If you know what is a hourglass. Can't but explain it. It's a hourglass. They used to have hourglass, right? You turn it have sun in there and you turn it round, and when all of the sun run out from one glass to the next glass, is a hour that. But the talking drum so have a shape like hourglass, and then put it under them arm, and them have a little stick and them beat it. And me experience that say the African them is great. It's science. I mean when I say science, what I think about scientific. We have it science as in the world of, you know, the underworld. We are dealing with serious science now because all the man that have to do is just whisper to me something. I tell me must say something to him. And me tell him something in him ears. And him seem brethren, you know, and him goes to home and also and the brethren listen to the drum and then repeat back everything when me tell the man who a beat the drum, everything. So when I carry a message with the drum and it's realized, the guys them come realize that we are do. And them just say, no drum, ban the drum. Them might use it as telegraph. Them might use it as cell phone. Original cell phone. African talking drum. That's why they call it talking drum, because it take message and send message and bring back message. When Africans hear it, them know exactly what is happening. Europeans, it take them long to find out, says that it go on. It take them long to find out, say, but wait, why every time certain things are going to happen, we hear that drum sound there? And I investigate them and I say, oh, it's a drum sound. I tell the other plantation slave them, say, we must do this and we must do that. Ban the drum. Well, they say, I see where the can road too. Because they have some people in the house named house slave. And it's mostly the woman them used to work in the house as house slave. Because sometimes people feel that the house slave was so docile that they never used to take part in a rebellion. But it's not true. You have whole heap of slave rebellion will start in the house by these women who used to in the house. And what happens is that the African them, when the woman in the house and she hears certain things, like for instance the slave master go travel and him now come back till all 1 week time, and the missus go there by herself with whosoever. The woman, the house slave would have fixed her ear, corner her ear, and walk amongst the field slave. And all the field slaves would have to do is look upon how the woman do her ear and know certain things we are going on in the house. If him burn it down next week, burn it down tonight, or if him do whatsoever him want to do, all him have to do is look upon her ear. So them kind of high science there, the African them did have. It's not a joke business. Man plan rebellion after how woman ear look. Man plan rebellion after how drum beat. Because right now in Nigeria, them have the same tradition of hairstyle and how you tie your ear. Ask any Nigerian if you feel say lie, me I tell. Whether Nigerian tie her ear, it's not just a tied chavan. The tie that symbolize her status in the society. She tie her head a certain way. You know if she married. You know if she's the wife of a minister. You know if she not married. You know if she rich. You know if she poor. All of these things is high science. In certain countries like South America, the indigenous people, them when them weave them mat, them send message in them mat. That are next, like in Ecuador and all them Peru and them places there, when them weave the mat, and next person can come and look on the mat and read it, because signs, them put in there signs, and them know say, well, this is that and this is that. You as a outsider don't know say all them message there in the weave mat. A high science that. So all of these things the British never know in a Jamaica. And when them catch up with it now, them decide to go ban that. Because I remember say all the language we couldn't even communicate certain language, you know. But we find other ways and other means and other method to burn down some plantation. And tacky come and galvanize a whole heap of the slave them. Because them see him as a high science and no other different science me I deal with you now. We are deal with spiritual thing now. Taki come with them kind of African spirituality there now, and bushman, bush doctor, and them respect him a certain way. And him just go so boom, lead certain fight and biggest rebellion in a Jamaica. Send me rebellion. No respect to Taki. Anyway, him there. If him there anyway. Maybe him still, maybe mal inside us, so it be, me don't know. Taki. We need to make national hero, because some guys are national hero. And national hero plan them two guys. You have a guy you Buster Manty and Norman Manley, because we now go like so we don't say certain things, you know, we are saying Buster Manty, Norman Manley, I plan them too, they forget get national hero, you know. Because them couldn't give one without the other, you know. I'm going to bet you any money right now. You see, any of them have decided to give Manley. I mean, I talk about Michael Mann. Any of them have talk about give Michael Manley national hero. They have to give Siaga national hero too. And if them give Siaga national hero, they have to give Michael Manley national hero too. Because so them run them little thing. Them couldn't give Buster national hero and not give Manley. Them couldn't give Manley national hero and not give Buster. A politics that it have nothing to do with how the thing go, how the thing set. That them set that for themselves. When a man like Nanny, when a woman like Nanny get national hero, we know it's a real national hero that. Sam Sharp, a real national hero. Marcus Garvey, a real national hero. Paul Bogle, a real national hero. But when we hear we say all them two people now get national hero, we say, but wait. Then if them can't get national hero, they want to tacky. Want to tacky. And if you want to look at it for the next level too, want to all Miss Low for the next level, Bob Marley. Because we know what Miss Low do for Jamaica, we know what Bob Marley do for Jamaica. They want to say you have to set out your life and all. Watch out. A man make law, man set up the law, man extend the law within certain little levels. You understand? The criteria to be a national hero and all these things where them I say. Criteria, them set up the criteria, you know. Them can make criteria go low or make criteria go high. No matter, them set it. So, Taki, Maroon, so-called, man, them say them are Maroon. I don't know. Maroon be a people. Well, I guess Maroon can be a people because dancehall become a genre of music, you know. So, you have a set of African people who call themselves Maroons. We are say that the Maroon, them not different from the Africans, them with dip on the flat. And if them want to know a difference, the only difference is that them sign a treaty with the British. And part of the treaty was to capture African people. Me see that. Me see the treaty with my eyes. Me see it with my eye. No guy can't tell me to don't go so. Me see the treaty with my eye. With them sign to capture African people. So, we're interested to find out if any one of them are listening.
Crime Stop Unsolved. Janice Goodison Smith of Dunrobin Park.
We don't know if you know this, but Tashwan, yes, young Tash, son of Peter Tash, is now in jail in New Jersey for them finding him with a portion of herbs. We want to talk to a man who we have on this program here before. The whole program. We want to talk to him because I'm seeing him like him represent Tashwan. And we see some serious thing going on down there so with Tashwan. Blessed? Mr. Smith?
Yes.
How you doing, man?
Nice to hear from you.
Well, you're in Jamaica again.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. How was the show, man, the celebration down so?
Well, there were a lot of people showed up. A lot of spirit was had, and it seems like there's plenty of love for the Tosh family.
Yeah.
Tosh family.
Yeah.
I got a chance to see Peter's mother again.
Mm-hmm.
She's the most lovely woman in the world. I'll tell you, it's like 20 times I've had a chance to visit her,
mm-hmm.
and she is what it really is all about. She's from where it sprang.
Yeah. All right. So you actually represent Tashwan?
Yes, I am his attorney.
You are him. All right. You know, easy, you know.
Right. I'm the lead counsel.
You are the lead counsel. All right.
Right.
So take with you our vibes, just so know, because we're hearing so much things and. We want you, as the man who is at the helm of the thing, take you through our vibes what is really happening right now, as we speak.
Well, right now, as we speak, both Jawara and his girlfriend are in jail, and they're there on a very high bond, and they've been in jail since Father's Day, since the
June.
14th
Since June.
Yes.
Okay.
They have an interesting way that they take care of people up in New Jersey. What they do is they charge you with something, they lock you up, and they keep the bond high, and they have a bail bondsman thing that goes on in New Jersey that doesn't happen in most places in the United States now. And the way the bond goes is that the judge orders that you must post 10% of the bond with the bail bondsman, not with the court. And that means that now Tosh won his bond and Carlotta's bond were both set at $200,000 when they were arrested. They have to pay $20,000 US each to a bondsman, and then they must have somebody who has $180,000 worth of property pledge that property. So if they don't come, they take the $20,000 that you paid anyway, and the next $180,000 if you don't come. So that's what I call Babylon bond.
But that's not most states not so it work.
That doesn't work that way in most states. In most states, they've done away with the bondsman.
Okay.
And they let the court be the bondsman. So they would say if you had a $200,000 bond, for example, you would post with the court $20,000, the same 10%. And then the court would keep 10% of that $20,000 as an administration fee. And at the end of the case, you would have your $18,000 come back.
Okay.
That way, you know, somebody wouldn't lose all of their hard-earned dollars, especially when somebody's going to be found innocent anyway.
Okay.
Now,
all right. So we could go to that part right now. Did they actually hold him with the herbs?
Well, here's what happened. I'll try to give the highlight of the facts. It appears that that Jawara was driving in New Jersey, and there sometimes the traffic is bumper to bumper. It's crawling, and they have a lot of confusing big roads that meet. So sometimes you can pull off in an area. They have a safe zone where you can decide if you're going to go right or go left. What happened is that he was in a car and he didn't know which way to go, so he pulled into the safe zone out of the traffic. And oh my gosh, he pulled right up on the next car, and the face of the car was a policeman who looked up at Tosh and his girlfriend. Tosh decided they're using the GPS to make a turn, and they took the turn signals on, and somebody let them in traffic. Remember, the traffic's going very slow.
Yeah.
So, policemen him come after Tosh and eventually pull him off the road and search the car. The policeman said that Tosh gave him permission to search, and I can't say anything against that, but as the vehicle was searched, they say they found in the trunk of the car a portion of ganja. Well, they call it marijuana. And they also said that portion was 65 pounds. Tosh was arrested along with his girlfriend. His girlfriend said that she had no idea that there were those flowers in the trunk. He did not know, and I'm sure in my mind that that's true. Tosh didn't say anything about that. They took him to jail, and they've stayed in jail since then. because they can't make the bond. Now, Carlotta, her bond was reduced to $100,000. But that's the minimum that a bond can be under this charge in that state.
Okay.
And she says, I'm innocent. I can't get out of jail. I don't have the money. And if someone wanted to give $10,000 to help me get out of jail, I wish they would just give me the $10,000, and I'll stay here until I prove my innocence, and then I'll take the $10,000 and I'll go to nursing college instead of paying to the bondsman. So she's there.
Okay.
But it's an interesting thing. Both of these young people in jail, both of their parents. Carlotta's father, on December 31st of 2007, he was in the South Boston Penal Complex for failure to pay child support. Sometimes it catches up on you. As I understand, Mr. Leslie was a 6'5" black belt karate, a man that nobody could really handle in the open. They made arrangements for Mr. Leslie to get out. He wasn't far back behind or anything like that. But it was New Year's Eve. And New Year's Eve, he couldn't get out until the next day, after New Year's Day. So apparently the correctional officers had some problem with him. And the way I hear the story, he had a heart attack in jail.
Okay.
But the heart attack was, he had it in an elevator where there's no cameras. And, of course, he had a heart attack. My understanding, he had holes in his chest. So it looks like, very clearly, and the family believes that the correction officers murdered Carlotta's father. The same thing happened to Peter Tosh. The story that I hear, he was held in jail.
Yeah, them beat him and him have to go out like him dead.
He had to pretend that he was dead to keep killing him for one split.
Yeah.
So now we have two young people in jail, both of them having serious past problems, at least their fathers, with correction officers.
Yeah.
But still, they didn't have any big problems. Now, I have been visiting with Tosh since June. I come from my town, where I live in Nebraska, to New Jersey, and we've had some hearings now in front of the court. And we've tried to propose to the court a new situation. This bondsman thing, this bond thing is terrible. In America right now, there's more than 500,000 inmates sitting in jails. Not because they're dangerous or a threat to society, or because the judge thinks they'll run. It's not even because they're guilty. They haven't even been tried yet. It's because they can't make bail. Sometimes a bail, even as small as $50, will keep you in jail. And some will wait behind bars for as long as a year or more before their cases come to court. 20 years ago in America, nationally, most defendants were released on their own recognizance.
Yeah.
Now, the most dangerous are given bail. All they have to do is pay, and they don't have to stay behind bars. But some of the least dangerous, just because they don't have money, must stay behind bars. The jails are overcrowded. It costs the American taxpayers $9 billion just to house those who can't afford it. Furthermore, a defendant who can't make his bail has no opportunity to demonstrate the mettle of his character while awaiting trial, other than he doesn't cause problems in jail or something. When you come into a trial directly from incarceration, the defendant is not on an even footing at all. And the bail bondsman, this thing is a big business. They have big lobbies and revenue. They have $693 million nationally. These people trade on human misery. It's not even that you're convicted. It's just you're in jail because you're poor, and that was supposed to be abolished a long time ago. So when they're making money on the incarceration of innocent inmates, and everyone's innocent until proven guilty, bondsmen, along with the jail's owner, are participating in slavery and involuntary servitude, in contradiction to the 13th Amendment, where neither slavery nor servitude, except as a punishment for crime, shall have been duly convicted, shall exist in the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. And even though they're not serving as workers, they are serving time. And this is involuntary servitude. A slave is a slave because he or she has no ownership over himself and no right for free movement.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is this situation that they have up there, the way that they house people and put them away, this Babylon bond, so someone can make money because they charged you a crime, and how the judges and the prosecutors and everybody and the jailers are all involved in this thing.
All right. So when the case is supposed to come up, when they go and bring up the case,
the next time the case is scheduled to be brought up is on November 18th.
Okay.
But right now, the judge is considering a new thing that we have put together called the family bond. And we gave him a video of the family, the children, himself, the fact that he's carrying on his father's works.
That's not a very good thing to say that if I carry on his father's work. I don't know how that might come across to the judge. That Tash want to carry on Peter Tash work, which related to herbs again.
Well, still and again, that's part of his work. But Peter Tosh was a worldwide ambassador for human dignity. He was Mr. Get Up, Stand Up, and that message needs to be spread now more than it was need to be spread before.
Yeah.
All of the messages and the prophecies that he gave about herbs.
Yes.
Back when.
It's coming to fulfillment, you know.
More than fulfillment. Today, the world has an ear for everything that Tosh said, more so than when he said it.
Yeah.
And that the world still needs to hear this. And this is what his young son Jawara is keeping. They are keeping him from doing. They have this system that I talked to you about in New Jersey. I can't believe it. I've never been anywhere, and I've been in a lot of states practicing law. The way they do it there, they have this governor, his name is Christie. Christie, the governor, he appoints the judges that's going to hear the criminal cases. He appoints the prosecutors that are going to prosecute the cases. Everything that goes on there is because of Christie.
Yeah.
And the reason why he's in jail is because of this system that they have in New Jersey. It's a mafia system like a lot of things that go on in America. But this is one of the worst ones that I can see, especially when it applied to an individual who has a flower in his trunk, the saving of the nation. No child of Peter Tosh would ever have anything as vile as marijuana or ganja. He used to go on about the bad words that they called the plant. He called it the herb or the saving of the nation, nothing different than that. And this is the message that is being repressed and stamped out by holding someone who has the stature of Jawara.
All right, so let me ask you a question, I don't know, because as a herbsman, I know your fight in relationship to the legalities and the thing, but consider and say it's illegal in New Jersey. In your strategy to fight the case is that no wrong with herbs must be legal, or you guys, I mean, how you intend to fight that case in a place where it is illegal?
Well, first of all, the first question is whether or not the stop of Jawara on the highway is constitutional. Like in America, we have a different set of laws than we have in Jamaica, where somebody stands in the corner with a machine gun and pushes you, points to the side of the road. Well, you better stop. In America, you do have the right to travel. That's one of the reasons why the people moved to America in the first place, was to get rid of King George ruffling around through your carriages and things like that in England. So, but in America, you have the right to travel. And in New Jersey, in particular, they've been having lots of problems. They have cases that have gone on and on about stopping black people, people of color. They're more likely to get pulled over and searched than anywhere else.
Definitely.
Now here, he's charged with driving while under the influence. It's DWD, but not DWD, driving while dread. He was stopped because he is a dreadlock. He was stopped because he had he was sporting his locks and his color. And neither one of those are good reasons to stop someone in America. They're not a good reason to stop someone anywhere. But in America, we have laws against them doing that. So they make up a whole heap of lies about why it is that they pulled him over and what they saw.
So why they say that they pull him over? Why they say that they pull him over?
They said they pulled him over because he was cutting people off on the highway.
Oh.
But by cut him off, the way you cut him off is you turn on your turn signal, and people are going bumper to bumper, and they make a space and they let you come in. That's what they call cutting them off.
You know, I remember one time I'm a bridge and I drive in New Jersey, and I never know, but say we are look for the road for turn off, the exit, and we actually slow down on the road, and the police stop we and say we don't go too slow. Ready to give a ticket, say we don't go too slow on the highway. So I think New Jersey have some whole different kind of things, different. I don't know. I guess you're right. You know, New Jersey have some ways there where it's unbelievable, really.
Most people, if you're black, got dreadlocks, and especially if you have some flowers in your car, it's a good idea to drive all the way around New Jersey because they don't mess around there. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, if I had my choice, I'd never go back to New Jersey again. And except for these people over at this jail that they got him at, they're kind of nice people over there. And they got about 400 extra beds in that place. And it looks like all they really want to do is just fill the place up. So if somebody needs a place to stay, and they don't have any house or any money, they could go to New Jersey, maybe burn a spliff, and they'll put them in jail. You get 3 square meals a day and flat screen TV. So if America wants to make a whole heap of money off of jails,
I think you have a next Jamaican them old to a next Aboriginal name Flipper. I think them old him in New Jersey too. So I don't know if it's a clean up thing going in New Jersey with Jamaican. Them just I think mafia. Them name Flipper, one DJ brother, them old him. And a bigger case that still, that a serious case, them have him pan and herbs.
Well, all cases with herbs are serious. Every person that has ever been arrested for herbs ever are political prisoners. They have been arrested because of politics. They've not been arrested because it hurt them or probably anybody else. Herbs are the saving of the nation, and that's why they're illegal. Not because they hurt somebody, because they help too many people.
Well, Bridget, I don't know. I mean, we're not hearing much about it in Jamaica. I guess because Tash One is not as popular as maybe Andrew Tash, you know. So you're not hearing very much about it here. But we know that it is an ongoing thing. And as we say, you are the attorney representing Tash. We hope you can keep us abreast in what the developments after November, you know, and see what will happen in November.
Well, this family bond is a pretty interesting thing that we're trying to put together, and this is what the judge is supposed to be listening to and deciding whether or not he'll release him on his own recognizance. I would hope that he would release him on his own recognizance. I hope that the people of Jamaica can get behind one of their brothers someplace else and demand that the state of New Jersey give him a fair hearing and give him some freedom before his trial, because he's going to come back to trial. And one thing I know about a Tosh is that he's going to tell the truth. So whatever the truth is, expect it to come out in this trial. And before the trial, when he gets out, he's going to start singing about the truth.
So how is the estate? How the estate involved in this? The Peter Touch estate?
Well, the estate is not involved in this, and they can't for many reasons.
Okay.
There's a number of people in the estate. Each person has their own particular wants and needs. And the estate, it would be improper for them to give money to one of the children for their particular problem and not give money to the rest of them. And so he's not asking for his father's estate to weigh in on this, and they have not. And I think that's fair. But his family, this family bond we talked about, it's a new entity. It harkens back to an era not long ago where the accused was given release on his or her own recognizance as a matter of course.
Yeah.
And in this time was before bail bonds became a big business and opportunity was found another way to make money off the system. The family bond, as opposed to Babylon bond, is a method of determining the likelihood of the accused to return to face trial without depending upon the access to the funds as its metric. Clearly, if a person has strong ties to the community, loves his children, and is deeply involved with their upbringing, and is gainfully engaged, as for example, like Jawara, as a performing artist with an international reputation, who has a cohesive family that works together, that man is not a flight risk. Certainly.
I think that was what was happening with Buju too. They when them call them what name the witness with Buju, they call up a group of people to say, well, this is that and this is that. He's a good man, outstanding in the society, and I think that Buju went through that.
We have this New Jersey judge, and trust me, this guy is as tough a guy as you can imagine. We had a hearing in front of him. Now, he's an old judge. They called him back out of retirement because they got too many cases. Probably because they're charging too many people for silly things like possession of herbs. But they bring him back out of retirement. And I watched this court all morning long. We bring 8 witnesses from Boston all the way to New Jersey to testify as to Tasha's character. I saw the judge sit up there and people go and kiss his ring, and then he'll pass out 10 years like nobody's business. This judge is tough, trust me. So we try to present to the judge the fact that he is an upstanding citizen with no prior record whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the judge, he wouldn't even listen to the testimony from the family. I mean, I had his mother, his sister, his children. Another sister come down to talk about whether or not he's going to show up. And the judge said he didn't have time. He'd been waiting all day long. And I've been watching him beat people up all day long. And then the judge, he said, I explained to the judge that herbs are medicine. And he said, yes, in small amounts they're medicine. And I said, no, Judge, that's wrong. If you have 1 stick of herb, or you have 1 ton of herb, they're a sacrament. If you have a stick of sacrament or a ton of sacrament, it's still a sacrament. And there's nothing wrong with possessing sacrament. But I want to tell you who Jawara Tosh is, because I think Jamaica doesn't know who he is. Here's what we told the judge. We told him he's a 33-year-old, internationally known working musician, a father and family man who has publicly dedicated himself to righteousness and betterment of mankind. As a son of the legendary Peter Tosh, Jawara is involved in compassionate community member who continues to carry forth his father's legacy of service to truth and consciousness. He's never been convicted of a crime, despite the falsehoods that were printed in him in the local newspapers immediately following his arrest. He's no threat to himself, nor to the community. On the contrary, Jawara has always used his extraordinary musical talent and charisma to encourage and uplift the downtrodden and to help the poor and the oppressed recognize their innate human dignity. His message is one of spirit, awareness, and human connection. He travels throughout the United States and in Europe and spread the message of self-worth and inner strength throughout his music, his lyrics, and his talks. Jawara is a loving father of 4 healthy, happy, well-cared-for children under 10 years of age. In fact, the well-being of the children has long been a focus of his community involvement. He's a peacemaker who works tirelessly with his brothers and sisters to heal and repair broken lives. Though he lost his father when he was just a boy, he has nurtured in the bosom of a large extended family where he learned human values of truth, peace, love, righteous action, and nonviolence. He's a respected and well-liked member of the musical community. He loves his family, he respects his fans, and has every reason, both internal and external, to return to face trial as a responsible citizen and as a spiritual man, a man of God and scriptures. Making money or accumulating things has never been his focus of life. Being true to himself and his principles are. And like so many other members of the community, neither Jawara McIntosh nor his family have the means to secure the excessive financial bond. He does, however, have deep family ties, an extensive projected work schedule. Yet since June, he's been able to be a father to his children or to work as a musician because he cannot come up with tens of thousands of dollars to secure his release since he's considered eligible for bail if he had money. The lack of money is the sole reason he cannot leave the district jail to reunite with his family.
Yeah.
He's just incarcerated because he has lack of means. Yet, in this case, like so many others, Jawara finds himself in a situation comparable to a debtor's prison, and a desperate which is a desperate and discredited institution. The question is how we as a country find ourselves repeating this terrible mistake by the past, where the class and monetary standing determines whether one has access to the full measure of protection under the nation's law. Naturally, the court wants to ensure compliance with its rules, but in spite of what those who make their usurious business funding financing bonds may say, there is something more compelling than money, which causes a person to act responsibly and with dignity. And that is the deep and abiding ties he has with his family and network of supporters and principles from which he lives his life. Jawara McIntosh's life history, acts, and public record reflect that he is a responsible and well-regarded human being. So what we want to have happen is to throw this Babylon bond of dollars out and start a new thing, a family bond, where every family and every person should have the right to be free to prove himself innocent.
Yeah. Well, after November, you can get in contact with me again. I will say how far you reach with it. You know, I mean, we give thanks to you for enlighten us and give us this update of what is happening to Tashai. And as we say, we will hear from you after the trial, after the November, what you say? What November when?
November 18th is when they're going to go back, but we're hoping that this judge will consider this family bond, which he's supposed to be doing now. And we'll let him out. If he doesn't, we're going to appeal. We're going to go back to court before November. So you'll hear about us.
Yeah, man. Give thanks, man.
You can keep track on CPU night.
Yeah, full up me email with all the public thing. Don't trust me. I mean, every time I want me email, I say, 20, 30, Ralph.
Sorry, brethren. There's a lot of news to know.
Yeah, but I can't read so much news. Trust me. There's too much problem brains. Believe you me.
Hit the delete key.
All right, sir. Give thanks.
More time.
Yes. Yeah, that was Ralph Smith, attorney for Tashai, who is held in New Jersey jail for couple pound of ganja well, you understand? And as I say, this lawyer is a man who spend more of his life a fight for the legality of ganja from Nebraska. Go I'm yard and trust me, man. Believe you me, it's not easy.
Why choose a tropical battery? Tropical battery has...
As we are say, so much things are going on in our earth here. Well, I tell you the thing, get away, because all the man them are try to figure out how them not see no hurricane. The man they predict some hurricane and October almost are done, you know, and them not see no hurricane are go on, so we don't know. The cycle of things is changing upon them, and them are changing too, you know, and them not realize it. This is the cutting edge on RFM there with you. Technical problems are going on at the studio. I could see how we're going to work it out, you know.
Brothers and sisters, this is Chalice. Join us with respect for our national anthem. Let us stand and defend this one. Peace and love. Thank you. Eternal Father, bless our land. Guide us with thy mighty hand. Keep us free from evil powers. Do our life through countless hours. To our leaders, great defenders, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth, be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we
In for us last week, one yellow Miguel. You know, so a little more from this is the stepping razor, the art of war. We're there with you Thursday, which is today. 12 o'clock gone, so it's today. Okay, so we hope you can join me. Little more from this, 2 p.m. Stepping razor, the art of war. But right now, it's the cutting edge.
Blessed love Muta. Eyes is higher. I'm Mr. Grey man, you know, that's chubby. Yeah. Music, to talking Jamie Rasta Sabbath. Yeah. I've been watching the interview the Case versus America for real and a Muta man. Marcus Garvey, Paul Bogle, a Jamaican carrier city America against big political lie, will tell you. 70, level at 60, Muta, 1% of all Jamaicans, independent of which school, I tell you that I correct by law now than constitution. I know interview. I mean, man. The music before I, you know.
Where that your nail, man?
Yeah?
Where that your beat this up? Where that your lick down?
I to lick before I with that too. Talking drums. African Ethiopian drums.
Okay. Well, you talk on the radio, so you have to stop licking.
All right. So just make a sound of music.
Yeah. Well,
you
the music can play already. So, yeah, but where you lick, they know how disturb where you say. Where you say.
All right. All right. We just heal up the man.
Okay. Man. Yeah, man. Give thanks for the heal, man. Give thanks.
I just want company here with the one-on-one interview.
No, you're up on the year already. You're up on the year, man. So where you say, no, man?
No, I say tomorrow with the stepping razor.
The way you can't say where you say no?
No, come on, show a paper.
Paper?
We talk about it enough. I show the paper that we talk about.
Yeah, but
me and the whole liar and the motor. Yeah, but
you can't set up your own interview for my program. I mean, you have to set up the interview.
Then that may tell you. Me have the whole liar versus the city American motor.
You know, listen to what I say.
Yeah.
You had set up an interview for my program.
Yes.
But me have to set up the interview. You can't.
Yeah, Marcus, you have the kind of thing in the motor that let you after we sue them. I want to show you a paper. Remember, me one line of speak an idea for Marcus education and the media, me Rasta man.
All right,
with the music, tell me federal in general.
Yes.
Man, like him, not a land.
All right,
I mean, the whole of them. The Rasta man. They're going to be a Marcus Garvey.
We play 2 times already still, you know. Maybe 3 times too, we don't remember. But sometimes we play a tape. People hear it already and never hear good. People never hear it before. So it's always good to revise or revisit some of these tapes that we play upon this program. Because it's only this program you can play it upon. It's only this program you will hear this tape on. So we want to play this tape here. Without further ado, it's called Silent Power. Yes, it's a serious, esoteric kind of vibes. Silent Power. Stuart Wilde. Listen carefully. Listen carefully.
This is Stuart Wilde. I think the reason this book, Silent Power, did so well was that it correctly stated the true nature of one's identity, the etheric. The word etheric comes from a Greek word that means to blaze. This is Stuart Wilde. I think the reason this book, Silent Power, did so well was that it correctly stated the true nature of one's identity, the etheric. The word etheric comes from a Greek word that means to blaze, like a fire blazes in the grate. It is the bioelectric force field that surrounds each of us. In that field are your true feelings, and it is that field that people respond to consciously and subconsciously, whether negatively or positively. People seek energy with which to survive, so they often look for sources that are oscillating higher than they are. A high-energy person is like the sun, radiating silently for others, helping them feel warm and less threatened by the fragility of life. The etheric is the silent energy all around you that defines what you are. For a long time, the etheric was a rather hazy thinking, and set in the concept of the Theosophist's writings about the color of the aura. In many ways, the whole thing about the aura was rather gummy and somewhat elitist. If your aura was blue or violet, you were supposed to be an elevated being, and if it was more red or sludge-colored, you were relegated spiritually to the bottom end of things. The etheric is light, and light is colorless. It is only if you pass a beam of light through a prism that you can see its rainbow colors. I'm sure that in the inner worlds, the etheric has color, but in our outer world, we don't see the color. We see it as fast-moving flashes of energy. And yet, at times, you will see speckles of color in it, but not a whole wash of any one particular color, say. For 70 years or so, the teachings about the etheric lay in the realm of speculation. You had to take it on faith, as very few in it. But now science has caught up, and it has been discovered recently that the field of the etheric, which stretches for several feet around you, is in fact made up of a special particle of light, known as a biophoton. Photons are particles or packets of light, and a biophoton is light generated from a biological source. So basically we would say it is biological light. German researchers who have measured and documented the biophoton say it is invisible to the naked eye, because its light is so weak and it easily gets swamped by bright sunlight. But it's not totally invisible, and you can teach yourself to see it. The early esoteric writings were very influenced by the snobbery and elitism of the Victorians, So they said that only avatars and high-level spiritual beings could see the etheric, and that came as a gift of an elevated spiritual status. That's a load of cobblers and not technically correct. You could be Jack the Ripper and still learn to see more sensitive to light and movement. It's the rods that give you good peripheral vision. It is thought the human eye developed a more sensitive, and as you learn to do this, you will see that all living things are surrounded by the force field of biophotons. You have to make sure the sunshine is not too bright, or that you're not under neon light. For some reason, neon light destroys one's ability to see. It is said that biophotons get their light from the nucleus of the molecules of the DNA in the body's cells, and that may well be the case. But the light is also generated as a byproduct of the electrical activity generated by brainwave activity, and also the electricity of the nervous system and the flow of blood coursing through your veins. In addition to all of that, there is the power created by muscular activity and your overall aliveness. The etheric light, its intensity, is affected by your level of harmony and balance, your minute-by-minute mood, so to speak. I came to see in the is in fact where human feelings are stored. The body-brain mechanism can't experience the complexity of emotions and feelings. It has no complex terms of reference. It is a binary system that operates via a very simple on-off mechanism that signals messages to the brain that translate into the sense of touch, say. The brain experiences everything as incoming electricity, on-off sensations that flow along the body's wiring system that we call the nerves. The brain experiences sensations, but it's in the etheric where human subtle feelings are experienced. Love, hate, bliss, anger, and so forth. Herein lies the key. The etheric is an imprint or map, if you like, of a person's feelings, a complex set of patterns and signals that describe the secret side of our humanity, that part that we often hide away. It tells you what a person really is, what they really amount to, what they say they are, or how they look. Many a crooked lawyer looks as straight as a die, all togged up in his suit and tie, spouting fine words, but in his etheric feelings you may realize he's a professional liar, a ruthless predator eager to feed off you and your lack of knowledge. Lawyers can't get to heaven. There's a mechanism that prohibits them. That has always rather pleased me. I'd hate to go through the tedious effort of living a pious life only to find a lawyer standing next to me at the pearly gates. Now that really would be lousy karma. Anyway, by reading the etheric, you ought to be able to tell who's a crook and who isn't. Even if you can't as yet see the field of energy, you can definitely feel it. It's just a matter of telling yourself that you have the power to do so. Some people are naturally psychic, but everyone has feelings, and the more you control your ego and process your life, the more sensitive you become to the feelings of others. The trick is to reach out and touch pull back to you a particle of those biophotons I spoke of before. Each of those quanta of light will have a holographic entirety of the person you're looking at. Imagine this. You're watching a person walking in the street and they are in a bubble that is blazing all around them. You mentally reach out with your arm and extend it all the way across the street and grab a piece of them and quickly snap your arm back. It's all in the mind's eye, but it is real nonetheless. You will feel something. There will be a predominant feeling and other less prominent feelings, but you can tell if that passing stranger is sad or hurt or unwell or in need of reassurance or whatever. The more you do this exercise, the easier it gets. In the end, you don't even bother with seeing your arm going across the road. It becomes just the act of mentally pulling a small part of them towards you. Though the etheric is close to the body, it can jump a long way, and when it does so, it moves very fast. I've often seen it loop across the street or across a large room. You can get whacked from a distance, as the ghouls in the etheric know how to bounce off one human to hit another. There was never much defense against that, except to stay away from crowded areas. especially where people are violent or elitist or very agitated, like, say, at a football game. There's a war in the inner worlds between the forces of a ghoulish nature and those humans aligned to that darkness, and the millions of others that are more sympathetic to the human condition and more loving. If you're good, you'll get whacked left and right all the way. That's your karma. But it is changing now. The domination of the inner ghouls and their human allies is being broken down with every day that passes. Your silent power comes from your tenacity and your ability to endure and to proceed no matter what the odds. Easier is when you begin to control your mind and not allow it to tow you around by the nose. You stay detached and you learn to let go. You have to somehow stop the mind asking questions and worrying. You have to trust and accept life as you find it, and not struggle against it. When you turn negative, you turn your etheric inwards, folding in towards you. It's a protection thing, like pulling in and huddling up, waiting for an attack. This is dangerous, as adverse energy can find you. When you're loving and positive, the etheric rolls outward, and in doing so, it protects you from the incoming etheric of others. Also, when you're critical of others, you trash your power. It lets them in. The very thing that you're bitching about comes and joins you. You are part of it, and it is part of you. In your judgment of it, you own it. It is now part of your energy because you've set it in there with your emotions and feelings. You've pasted it all over your bulletin board, so to speak. In a way, you just want and have no particular comment on what you see. In this way, you glide along without altering things too much, touching life only very little and not infecting reality in which you find yourself. If you walk through a mall and absolutely no one sees you, they never look at you or notice you, then you know you have your etheric greatly under control. When you gaze at the woman in the red dress, your energy goes towards her. She feels it and looks back at you. But if you can view her without any reaction, then you glide through life without tainting it, and you glide through silently. Every so often, stop where you are and stand still and blank your mind and go silent. And as you do so, you will feel your energy expanding. It races out to the far reaches of the universe. You can feel yourself pulsing, radiating outwards. You can feel that you are so much greater than what you think you are. You're an eternal pulse, and that pulse is to everything. Years ago, I'd take small groups of seminar participants out in the street, and in a matter of an hour or so, I'd show them how to read people passing by. Everyone can do it once they know they can. A person's emotion is etched in their face, and if they've had the same emotion for a long time, it changes the shape of their face. You soon see it. It's more than body language. It's the way the body is sculpted over time by the human personality. If a person is mean, their eyes look mean. If they're angry, you can feel it. If they're cruel, their lips go thin over time. If they're a predator, it's also on their lips. They change shape. You can imagine them biting you for a little feed. I know a man who is a slick wheeler-dealer type, and he often talks through the side of his mouth, even when there's no particular secret or deal going down. Way, as if he's whispering round corners all the time. Everything about him looks shady. His hair is black, and he puts little blonde streaks in it, which might be very nice if he were 18 years old, but he's almost 50. Talk about mutton dressed as lamb. He's very vain. Life is all about him, not other people. If you saw him, you would have no trouble working him out. When people are arrogant, they walk that way. They roll their hips and push their shoulders forward from side to side as they walk. It's a way of making space for themselves and threatening others, because obviously a very important person doesn't need others getting in the way. It's usually a form of walking and showing off at the same time. They strut and glance left and right to see who is watching them. A powerful person doesn't need to show off. He or she is humble. The more powerful they are, the more humble they are. That's always the case, because if they will have an intimate relationship with God, and if that is so, they are bound to be humble people. It's simple. If a person is slovenly, you can see the laziness and the indulgence of their life, which is often written not just in their attitude, which often says the world owes me a living, but also in the rolls of fat around their body. Elitism looks weird. I don't care for it much. It is often manifest in the way some hold up their chin as they walk. They look down their noses at people. Where a person hates humanity, and there are many more of those people than you'd imagine, they have a scrunched up look under their nose and around their lips. It's a tightness. Sometimes you see vertical lines on their lips that have been etched over decades of criticism and judgment. They think they're better, and they scrunch up and sneer as a reaction to the horror of having to deal with other mortals. They sometimes look like they have a nasty smell under their nose all the time. Watching people for their vital signs, so to speak. Don't overly engage your mind. Just look once, grab a snapshot of consciousness, and then blank your mind, or close your eyes if you like, and ask, what is this? And the answer comes back, indifference and disdain, or weakness and self-loathing, or sneakiness and thieving. The slut lets you know she's selling herself. She wants observers and admirers. It's a business and she's advertising. The mincing queen is making a theatrical performance of going down the hallway. In his mind, he is starring on Broadway. He's saying, watch me, watch me. Ain't I lovely? Ain't I special? Watching people and working them out is loads of fun. It'll keep you entertained for hours, and in reading people it helps you to understand the whole range of human emotions and pretenses. Then you can start to realize that you can feel the same emotions in the etheric, as well as seeing it written on their face. Between two pieces of information you're looking at. For example, people that are very fat have fat souls. There is a gumminess to the way they operate. They want everyone and everything to be organized to sustain them. They are the great consumers. They don't just eat endless food, they eat everything. People, money, welfare, whatever they can get their podgy fingers on. They're a machine. Shovel it in, pass it out. Their gummy egocentricity makes for a wobbly etheric. And, just as their rolls of lard wobble as they walk, their spirituality wobbles as well. Take a moment to observe and you'll soon see it. You will also see that they're often very self-righteous, because they have to make their obscene levels of consumption right. So they're on their high horse all the time. They often look pompous when they walk. Remember, you just watch it because you're learning. There's no need to get emotionally involved. It is not an indictment of any one fat person in particular. It's just as very obese people often have fat, self-indulgent souls. They kill a lot of animals to sustain their consumption. We live in a self-correcting universe, so God has made sure that fat people don't grow old. They almost all die young. Look around you, you will not see any old fat people. Old folk are usually slim. They eat less and consume less, so they survive. So while the fat ones feed and overconsume and lean up against others for their needs, they conk out early, and that allows for a balance to be maintained. The last 30 years of their possible human life, they don't eat anything because they're dead. It's the same karma for violent people. They often die an early death because God doesn't want any more danger on the planet than we've already got. So the violent guy pulls to him a mugger that knifes him in a dark alley. The world becomes a happier place, and then the mugger gets his lumps the following week. Sorted. Brilliant, isn't it? The point is here that in your silent power, you're not judging it, but you're trying to understand it better. And of course, if you are challenged by your weight, then the obvious thing to do is to look at what makes your soul fat. Perhaps that's a little bit crude to say it like that, but there's an indulgence in there. And again, it may be because of abuse in childhood, or it could be stored fear. Some people get fat because they're angry. There are reasons for everything. And all we're doing is like trying to understand ourselves with a kind of compassion and allowing us to become better people. It's the same with, let's say, men that wear moustaches. Almost all of them are closet fascists. They're hard and they're mean and they're often cruel. And then, of course, there would be some that aren't. In fact, men that wear a moustache as part of a beard are very different to men who just wear the moustache. But they often have an intensity, a violence inside of them that's really nice. Way of looking at things. People with very thin lips are often very mean and cruel. And again, it's not all of them, but it's a way of observing the body language, observing the feelings, because in the end, silent power is all about feeling. It's all in the perception of it and the feelings. That is the only reliable yardstick for working out what the truth is in any given situation. The mind tries to guess what will happen next, or what is correct in any given situation. It makes it feel important when it guesses right. So the mind looks for patterns that may be repeated in the future to tell it what will happen. The horse won twice in a row last month, so we'll have £500 on it today. Oh dear. This is why I say in my books that free will is for amateurs, because free will is part of the dogmatic nature of the ego. It's the ego insisting that it is right and in charge of your life. And wasn't it free will that got you to the stoplight in time to hit the school bus? And didn't it get you married to a complete disaster? And wasn't it right there advising you when you signed up for your lousy job that's now hard to leave? Free will is the rotten karma that comes from the ego's insistence that it knows what it's doing, and that it has a right to control your life in every minute detail. There are laws that protect the ego and free will, but if you work it out, free will is a terrible handicap to you. You don't need it. What you need is accurate intuition and an accurate ability to read feelings. The way something feels is the way that it is. The way it looks or seems may not be the way it is. Free will and guesswork are a disaster. Even when the intellect is right, it isn't right for very long. Today's good guess is followed by tomorrow's stuff-up. If you start to trust in your feelings and your intuition, then bit by bit they become very powerful, and in the end you learn to obey them, even if they to go, or if they prohibit you from doing things you might want to do. It is the higher self talking to you, not the intellect, and the higher self has an overview that the mind does not have. I went to London recently to visit a famous building that I've always wanted to see, and as I was walking there, I got very clear instructions that said, turn left. The left turn would take me away from where I wanted to go, and so I hesitated for a moment, a little frustrated. Then I walked a few steps toward where I wanted to go just to see what would happen, and I suddenly felt a sharp prickling sensation on my wrist. When that happens, it's always a warning to me. It feels like mild stinging nettles. So I gave it up and walked off in the opposite direction, and I never did go to the building that I'd intended to visit. Why did my higher self warn me off? I don't know. But over time, I've just learned to accept orders and follow whatever I'm told. I travel the world with my wait for my inner self to tell me, right or left. Sometimes I hear nothing, so I check into a hotel and wait. Then after a few days, I see a vision that tells me which way to go. Or I get what I call a hit, which is a very strong feeling that instructs you. So you follow it. I've been doing this following along for many years now. The next day, I was walking down the Fulham Road in London, and as I passed a pub called Finch's, I heard someone call my name. I looked across the street, and there was no one on the sidewalk or in the doorway of the pub. Then I heard my name called 3 more times. Each time I looked, and there was no one there. I went up the street to get something, and then I turned back and walked into the pub. There was a man I haven't seen for 30 years. He hadn't seen me in the street or called out. I knew it was his inner mind that spoke to me, calling. I don't know if the chance encounter know why you end up where you do end up. But if you follow along, life will always be spontaneous and it will never be boring. Now, I'm not saying you should lead my life, drifting around. You might find it too lonely and bleak. But you can allow the silent power within you more and more influence, so you make less mistakes. You see, your power lies in what you don't do rather than what you do do. The BS you avoid is as important as the decisions you get right. A few decisive, well-planned actions are worth so much more than running around trying to do too many things at once. If you have no time in your life, it's because your mind has you as its slave. The ego is getting you to feed its every whim. And so you're up all hours of the day and night trying to keep it happy. Perhaps now it's time to stick the ego in the slammer for a bit and give yourself a rest. There's an element of silent power that allows you to fight another day. The Rambo mentality that plows in regardless is stupid in my view. It can get you killed. Most things in life can be bypassed. That's the beauty of it. You have choices. If you're a confident person, you will find that you can allow life around you to flow in whatever way it pleases, and you can grant that liberty and freedom to others. You will not need to control or dominate their lives, and if you do so, you're weak and you become the covert Nazi. You will demand allegiance from everyone and you will seek to have power over them. You will have rules, lots of rules. It's your control over them that gives the ego the illusion of power. But in fact, the very control you insist on makes you brittle and easy to push over. Because any time your control falters, your ego will go nuts and it'll become threatened and angry, and that will make you sick. And eventually you have to let go because you're in a hospital with a tube up your nose, fighting for your life. And at that point you don't control anything, not even your bowel movements. It all finds a balance, you know. In recent years, I've suggested to people that they try the Amazonian sacred brew, ayahuasca, which is spelled A-Y-A-H-U-A-S-C-A. The reason I have felt it important is because Aya, as I call it, teaches you loads of lessons about silent power. It assails the ego and makes it go quiet, and it teaches you to let go. It is sometimes called the vine of death, not because anyone dies from it, but because it takes you to an ego death, a place where the ego has to let go. And once it does so, the medicine in the sacred Aya brew shows you what reality is really like. You see the magnificence of the vast universal reality that we live in. Strangely, everyone sees the same thing. It all starts off in a multicolored dome of fractal geometric patterns. It shows you that every leaf and every little thing is in fact a mathematical formula expressed in an incredible complexity. And yet, in that vast complex nature of reality, there's an utter simplicity, a gentle and wonderful connectedness in all things. Aya is really a supplement. In repressive countries like the US and Britain, they call it a drug, but it's not. Its main component is DMT, which is natural in the body, and ayahuasca feeds DMT into the pineal gland. It's legal in Brazil and other places like Switzerland, and in some countries like Holland and Canada. It's not legal, but it's not illegal either. It's in a sort of grey area. You can get it and use it, as long as you don't publicize it. Hundreds of people I know have gone to Brazil, to the temples of Aya, and they all say the same thing, that Aya changed their life and increased their perception enormously. I do know this, if you've not seen it, you haven't really lived. And if you're a spiritual teacher or healer, you need it, because everything you teach will change once you've been to an ayahuasca temple. You will see that what you know is a bit inadequate, because it's just words. It's not the real thing. And your words may not even be accurate words, often enough. Aya rewires the brain, changing the synapses, activating receptors in the brain that have laid dormant for decades. The sacred Aya brew replaces lost DMT in the pineal. You need that for perception. It is the key to extrasensory perception. The pineal gland fires DMT, dimethyltryptamine, in heavy doses twice in its life, at birth and at death. The near-death experience is thought to be a DMT release, when the brain thinks the body is dead or dying. Modern humans are missing most of their DMT. That might be due to poor diets and the distress of modern life, but the missing DMT is why depression is so prevalent in our society. Aya heals depression double quick, and in fact it heals almost anything. It's deadly to parasites in the body, and it's also beneficial to sufferers of Parkinson's disease. I heard of a man who had a deadly case of emphysema. He was cured with ayahuasca in 2 weeks. I mention Aya because it's where everyone goes once they have no place else to go. No more books or seminars or whatever. It's where the teachers go once they have painted themselves into a corner and they have nothing more to say except to repeat what they've already said. Aya takes you to another dimension, many other dimensions, And from there you see life in a more powerful way. And you can come back and teach that to others. There are links to ayahuasca sites on my internet page, which is at www.stuartwild.com. Or you can look it up on Google. You'll find hundreds of pages on the subject. Now here's an interesting point about silent power that isn't in the book. In the late 80s, I wrote what became a standout book for me called Whispering Winds of Change. Many of the predictions I made in that book are now coming to pass. I said that a terrible redneck fascism would grip America, and that would bring with it war and other problems that arise out of the antagonism of those opposing forces that would see American imperialism destroyed. One of the main points I made was that the world is splitting into two evolutions. On the one hand, you have redneck fanatics, and on the other hand, you have an evolution of a more spiritual consciousness that seeks self-improvement and harmony. In very simple terms, it is as if the New Age hippies and the Rainbow Coalition go one way, and the racist rednecks go the other. That split is very prevalent in the Middle East, where violent Zionist racists and fanatics seek to hold Palestine as theirs, while equally violent fundamentalist Muslims seek to destroy the occupation of the Jews and evict them from their lands. The redneck parabola of evolution will seem safe to people. It grants them power because it is a parabola of energy that is elitist. It pulls inwards towards itself and excludes foreigners or those that are not of the same racial type or those that think differently. The redneck fundamentalist parabola is like an ingrown toenail. It turns inward and destroys itself in the end, but millions follow because the expanding open parabola of spirituality and humanity feels too scary and too alien, and it is often too communal. Elitists don't like to be too close to others. The open parabola is not elitist, well, not usually. It seeks the community of humanity and the global village, not the defined exclusion zones of the other conservative ways of thinking. Unfortunately, the redneck Reich, as I call it, is in power. They rule the Western world, and they also control the media, so they mold public opinion. That is why over 70% of Americans think that bombing unarmed villages, hunting for Al-Qaeda, is a good thing, and they believe quite erroneously that somehow all the military activity overseas and all the new fascist rules at home will somehow make them safe. Time will prove them wrong on that.
Do you or someone you know have a drug drinking or
decide which parabola you will follow? Will you back the rednecks through approval or apathy, or will you head for the insecurity of the open ground? You can take to killings and military mayhem, or you can adhere to the strictly non-violent spiritual path. It's part of your power. You can stay inside a collective violent evolutionary mindset, or you can drift off on your own and make a stand and look for others that are more open and loving and less likely to turn on you when things go wrong. I've always felt that the spiritual journey takes courage, as it involves the challenge of looking at yourself, but it also requires that you travel towards the unknown. That is why many never leave the safety and comfort of the fundamentalist ways. It feels safe to them. I mention it here because at this time we're very much at a critical threshold. Now you have to make a commitment and jump to one side or the other. I will say this, the Redneck Reich and its European equivalent eventually falters and breaks up. But that may not be a reason for you not to follow it as far as you can. But you may find yourself high and dry. So it becomes a point of your power to make the decision. Jump, no jump. You decide. The reason it is important is because since I wrote Silent Power, something else has happened that has altered the whole concept of silent power and catapulted it up into another realm. If you read my site at stuartwild.com, you'll know I call it the morph. The phenomena first arrived to our perception in March 2001. It may have been here before, but it wasn't strong enough for us to see it. A transdimensional overlay began to appear, as if lacing itself between the spaces in our three-dimensional reality. I named it the morph because it has a way of making a room look hazy. The walls go soapy looking. You imagine you can see through reality. It has no proper solidity. In a way, the morph and ayahuasca are very similar because they both insist that reality is not solid and that it is made up of complex geometries and dimensions. But what we came to see was that we are not solid. In fact, early on in March 2001, I had a strange experience with 15 other people, whereby strange geometries suddenly fell upon our skin as if from nowhere. Beautiful patterns appeared on our faces, arms and backs that seemed like Mandelbrot fractals. Suddenly one arm would be covered in little green circles, and another person had red triangles and blue stars and so on. Each geometry lasted a few minutes, and then it morphed into something else. After an hour or so, we began to see that our solidity was disappearing. First our fingers began to dematerialize, and then a hand, and then whole sections of the upper body would go. It was just not there anymore. We found we could put our fingers into each other's heads, and when we took the finger out, it came out elongated and wet-looking. It was really weird, but we just laughed and laughed like little children. We'd never seen anything like it in our life. The whole experience lasted about 4 hours, and a few days later it came back. An upside-down Y-shaped funnel appeared over a 4-poster bed in one of the rooms, and we found we could stand up inside the funnel and disappear our upper body. The funnel gave the impression it was trying to suck one up and away, though it wasn't strong enough to lift us off the bed. But that did happen about a year later to one of the people that was present in those early days. He was twice lifted several feet off his bed. He's about 240 pounds in weight. Once when he levitated, he was on his own, but the next time he was there with an assistant that watched it all in utter amazement. Over a period of several years, the morph got stronger and stronger, and while it is in effect a 26-dimensional overlay, I came to see it and define it in more simple terms as the descent of the goddess. Our world is being ruined by a yang masculinity that fights with other ego trippers and insists on controlling everything. The masculine yang is so out of control, it is blind to the danger it faces. Only the feminine can warn him, if he will listen. We need a world of inclusion and nurturing, not exclusion and death. If we knew a bit about inner power before the morph, we knew 100% more a little while later. The morph allows for a whole new perception to be born, because as it settles into this 3D plane, it provides a doorway with which we can see into its world. Her world, so to speak. That world is soft and beautiful. It is a world of silence and power, a world of honor and fairness. It's what I've always believed would come, the Camelot world. I predicted it years ago. Why is the goddess here, in her 26-dimensional splendor? There's a complex answer to that you can find in my latest writings on the internet. But suffice to say, if she didn't come, the world would perish. And those humans that seek redemption and upliftment and a spiritual evolution would fade in despair. For the yang redneck racist politicians rule the world. Spiritual people are not in power because they're not elitist or part of the status quo, nor do they seek power over others. They know that that is a recipe for destruction. There's no spiritual percentage in controlling people. The goddess is here to show the way and to pull down the controlling mechanisms, to establish a new way, one of softness and compatibility. For that to happen, the human shadow has to be brought out of hiding and exposed, and people have to learn to suffer it and process through it. None of us is white. We're all a little black and a little white, grey in spiritual terms. None of us is righteous, not in spiritual terms anyway. We're all blotted by our upbringing and the way we have lived our lives and the way we have treated others, either silently in our minds or overtly through our actions and speech. So she's here to show the world its evil, but beyond that, she also shows the world the way forward, and that is the silence or the power of a new beginning, whereby the sins of the world are washed away by the Lamb of God, in the sense that she is the Lamb of God, but she's also Kali the Destroyer. So the world of the ego will fall in steady thumps. Western society as we know it will almost entirely disappear. Then you will need your silent power, because you won't be able to speak out much, as the fascists, sensing doom, will be racing around accusing everyone. They won't know where their next trauma is coming from, so everyone will fall under suspicion. At that point, you will have to let go and move on, and you won't care for stupid things, materialism and so forth. You will make do with very little and garner joy from simple, natural things. When the morph arrived here, it was 15 of us, as I said, but soon hundreds could see it, and the dematerializations involved many hundreds of people. It could be over 1,000 by now. It wasn't restricted to the initial few. The morph is everywhere and getting stronger by the day. In the end, everyone will see it and benefit from it. It has to be that way, otherwise there would be no point to it. The goddess is making herself felt for everyone's benefit. It's not for one church or one group or one social unit. She's not an elitist. She's the Queen of Heaven. She is for everyone. It's hard to see the morph in bright light unless the morph is very strong that day. It's best to look at it in more subdued lighting. Go into a room and have only a small crack of light penetrate, so it's almost dark. Then look at the wall and bring your attention back to halfway, in the gap between you and the wall. Watch the hovering in the middle. There you see it. It looks like fast-moving water, and sometimes it looks like dry rain, and at other times it seems soapy, as said. You may start to experience a fluttering sensation in your body. Sometimes in men it is between your ankles, and often in the heart area with the women. Don't be concerned. It's a quickening of energy. The fluttering is the oscillation of the morph that you feel in your etheric. Sometimes you feel electric shocks at night when you're drowsy and just about to fall asleep. They're a bit dramatic, but you get used to them. Sometimes they come one after the next. My record is 147 in 5 hours, one every 2 minutes, more or less. Some are stronger, and they can twist you off the bed, but most are less dramatic. Some of the electric shocks go to other people and activate them. Everyone has to wake up in the end and come out of their stupor and watch what the goddess is now doing. I have predicted she will appear in the sky as apparitions, some of which will be 5,000 feet high. They stay in the sky for hours, even days perhaps. We've seen many of those so far. In the end, everyone will see them. People will find them very beautiful and very inspirational, though some folk might get a bit freaked out. It'll really depend on how much evil they have in their heart. In the end, the morph takes you to another world, one that truly is silent, because it isn't here. It is between the spaces of a reality, not in our reality. Imagine the space of a room being made up of oblong boxes that are hovering in mid-air, and those boxes give the impression of a 3D film that you have to wear those funny glasses to see. The boxes are hovering in mid-air between you and the distant wall. If you can get up and walk round the oblong boxes, you can walk out of this reality and disappear. That is where she will take people eventually, round the back of the holographic boxes. Now, this is not something that is decades away, in some remote future. It's very soon, a few months or a few years at the most, but not decades. Now, here's the trick. There's always some technique or other. The first act of silent power is detachment, seeing things in a less emotional or dramatic way, allowing people to be whatever they want to be, even if what they are is dangerous and ugly. The second part follows automatically. It is the ability to become a neutral force in life, not altering very much, not consuming very much, not talking so much, not being too insistent or fixed into a system or into a reality you have created for the ego's benefit. The idea is to be fluid and loose, an observer, not a talker. That is the way I speak of. The third part is about selflessness. So once you've done neutral for a bit, then you look to see how you will serve humanity, but not from the way you might have served humanity in the past, as part of the ego's aggrandizement, or as a business, but more humbly and more silently and more selflessly. It might be hard at first to understand that life at its most spiritual is not about you. It is never about you, it's always about others. If you talk in terms of I this and I that, it's all about the ego, isn't it? It's you preening yourself and discussing your needs or discussing your wonderfulness. But in the end, there is no you, only your higher self, and that seeks to love and connect and serve humanity as it doesn't have any other way to go. You're very important, but only in the early stages. In the end, you grow to where you see you're completely unimportant. It matters not if you're here on earth or dead. It's irrelevant. Life is not about you. If you think it is about you, then you've not evolved very far as yet. It's all about others, and how you will silently and selflessly serve them. In doing that, you're not allowed to gouge them silly, like a plastic surgeon might. You serve at no cost, or at very little cost to others, and you serve until there's no one left to serve. It's very hard for people to understand this, but it is a fact that almost all power will be denied to you until you learn that you can't use it for your own benefit. It's only for others and the greater glory of God here on earth. You are irrelevant in the scheme of things. If you want silent power for yourself, you'll get a bit, but the real gravy will be denied to you. We discovered this in the morph. It wasn't a great surprise, as we always thought it to be the case, but it was confirmed to us. I would guess that better than 90% of all people can never reach the selflessness I speak of. They're too ingrained in feeding the ego and being important, or they want admiration and acceptance. They want to be seen as the great spiritual pooh-bah on the mound. If you want that, you can have it, because it's not hard to con people to follow along with a little perception. But you'll never have real power, because the power protects itself. It doesn't need any more pooh-bahs. God is tired of people pretending to be divine. And it doesn't need someone using the power to manipulate people. One of the functions of the goddess is to liberate us all from religion and shady healers and spiritual mishmash and set us free. She will come to destroy the ashram, not to raise it up. I reckon selflessness is a learned skill. I can't imagine people are born that way, though I might be wrong. It comes from a great discipline of the mind. You teach the mind not to desire itself, not to want for itself, not to see everything as an extension of its experiences, its daily life. Eventually you will rise to ask, how will I serve today? Instead of, what's for breakfast? Who will sustain me today? Who can I feed off today? Who will pay me? Who will notice and admire me today? And so forth. In the letting go, you get everything. But what you get, you can't keep. It's never yours, nor can you wield it either. If you do that, it may destroy you. All spiritual disciplines will only take you a little way, and then you may have noticed they peter out. It's once you know and accept that none of it is for you, and that it can't be used for money-making or self-importance, that you actually proceed. Most can't give away the self-importance and the sense of self. They desperately need it. Sad but true. So there you have it, silent power. When others talk, remain quiet. When they panic, stay calm. When they run, stand still. When they demand and want things, ask for nothing. When they eat, fast, and so on. It's always the act of going in the opposite direction that the collective mind will go. For the collective mind will burn itself out, rushing around. You stay still and conserve your energy and wait and watch. It all comes to you in the end if you're selfless, and you don't seek it or yearn for it, and if you can wait for as long as it takes. Bye now. This is Stuart Wilde.
R.E.M. Thought-provoking, always smoking. Lyrics like a bazooka. You are listening to Mutabaruka.
In the shade, real hot.
96 degrees in the shade, man. May I tell you, this is the Cutting Edge on RFM Silent Power. University Mona Campus, National Heritage Month Committee, Narratives of Yeah, we are talking about resistance. We are talking about Taki, Paul Bogle, Sam Sharp, Nanny, Marcus Garvey, all the man them who and woman them who set the thing. Because we see some people that try to reverse the thing. I know people that try to reverse the thing, but it not gonna reverse, you know. It not gonna reverse. The cutting edge right now. I know so that tune a big tune from out of England. Prince Lincoln. And the show will continue.
Ja, Rastafari. Yeah, Muta, them maroon, we say, you know, are the slave master, them security, you know. I want you to know, say, two are the colonel, them, you know. I think Colonel, one of the name Colonel Petty. And the one next colonel, I remember film name. Two of them serving a Jamaica Constabulary Force.
Where them there? Which one of them two there? Them they are compound or them they over Portland?
I don't know where them the right or no. And I think one of them named Colonel Petty, him serving at the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
As a maroon?
Yeah, as a maroon. So you must see the levels of the thing or the thing set.
Well, the maroon them was like a constabulary force for the British still.
Yeah, you know, but me I say as maroon.
Yeah. For reach this
all. Me I say.
For reach this all, yeah.
Yeah, man, but the judgment there for the whole of them, you know. The judgment there for the whole of them, Jamota. Me I tell you, man.
Yeah, well, we have to bring it up, you know. We have to bring it up.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you highlight out the thing, man.
Yeah, man.
For real, I make the people them know where really I go on about them maroon, yeah.
Give thanks, Bridget.
So me I say, I come go on like say, my different set of African.
Yeah, I see him African, man. See him African.
Them sell out Paul Bogle, George William Garden, Taki. Them sell out all Nanny.
Sam Sharp.
Yeah. You know, yeah, man, for real, man. The people have to know this. That's what I say.
Yeah, man. Give thanks, Bridget. Give thanks.
Yeah, man. Blessed, my brother. Cool.
For behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to pay every man according to the way he should be.
Migla Mikey Spice, yes.
Cutting edge,
yes, sir.
Alabama.
Yeah, how you know, man?
Good, man. How are you, man?
Yeah, man.
Okay. There you're tuning, man. Yeah, man, brother Miguel do good last week.
When did I talk about?
A bunch of stuff. Maybe I have recorded still. And,
okay.
Good. Zero issues, man. Very informative, you know.
Then tell me what I think they matter about the bridge. If I so much bunch of informative thing, why you want to something them when talk about?
I have it record, man, but sometimes I play over the something and I so much something for me to me there and some different thing I'll be talk to you.
You see it now, you have a whole heap of things by your head and you have a locks.
I mean I have a lot.
I have a whole heap of things by your head.
Yeah, man, the tape there, when you play a while ago, too, very informative.
Silent power.
Yeah, short while.
Yes. Serious right to that.
You see how we do them tape and I'm record it. I kind of listen it back at my own time and go through it. I can't really catch it one time.
Yeah. Well, that's the best way to do it still. That's the best way to do it. Listen it back. Tape it and listen it back.
Yeah, man. So we tune in with them and we tune in at night and the reason we do and they touch lawyer to that informative because no person with certain law, certain thing we not quite really.
Yeah.
But like that state, they kind of, it's a serious state now. Well, New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey, yeah.
Yeah, them the things are weird so.
Different.
Yeah, and it's like if you're colored to a different thing too.
Yeah, man. Garden call it Garden State.
Yeah.
Garden State. All right, Bridget, give thanks, man.
Yeah, man, we tune in, man. See?
All right, blessed.
Here's the King of Kings.
Yes, good night, Mr. Baruka.
Good night, sir.
Yeah, what go on it?
There, man.
Well, me and someone brethren them from the National Interschool Brigade, I give a shout out now.
The National what?
The National Interschool Brigade.
Which part of that?
Remember up at the Marcus Garvey celebration?
Which Marcus Garvey celebration? I know for them they bought the
Up
place.
at New Village one the other day.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, the unit, the uniform group.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good night. I am T.I. Murphy. I am Mr. Manu and Mr. Mike.
We are obsolete, man. You're not going to your bed.
Oh, God. We can't go to bed. We can't go to bed and move to the parade, man.
All right, sir.
Straight cutting edge, Mr. Musa.
All right, sir. Give thanks, man.
So we just give a shout out, you know. I want to big up the NIB family too. Yeah.
Them big them up, no man. You know, them big them up, man.
I want to big up all the NIB family.
All right. I will play the next tune. We're going to play for them.
All right, Mr.
Yeah, blessed. Yeah, sir.
Yeah, man.
All right, Mr. Musa.
All right. A long time tune this. Trust me.
Yeah, all right, cool.
I'm the left younger Europe will live, you know. Yes, I'm the left younger Europe will live. I don't know why I'm to the two man, them TT Force and all them man, they from them longer time there. Deep bass voice, yes. Yeah, see, but they are stepping already, you know, cut to the edge. What do you say?
Edge.
Yes, sir.
Go Muta.
Where me there, man?
I love them Deckers.
The Decker, you know what you know about Decker? You know, you're a young boy, you know about Desmond Decker.
Yeah, that me I show you know that the Muta. Me I listen to you from program from 90 when the program started, you know.
So that program you know about Desmond Decker?
Yeah. That program I know about some big artists.
Okay, all right, sir.
Yeah, my father is a music man, you know.
Okay.
My father is a man who write music.
Okay, I collect music too.
Yeah, you know, back in the festival days, you know, I grew up in the Silvertones.
Yeah, but I mean, know Silver.
Well, my father, even if you remember music name, musical, boat. Remember that one in the festival song?
Silvertones.
Yeah.
No, I know Silvertones, man.
Yeah, well, my papa was in line with them, man, still.
Okay, so, but they never win that. They never win, though.
No, they never win, you know, but
yeah.
We get an entry night, you know? Yeah, Muta, you teach me a lot through the program, and from the Jesus, when I read them books, then, you know?
Yeah.
We have them time they are chilling me there, you know?
So where they know?
But when I told me there, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, and, you know, been through a lot, and, you know, I quite a few of the program. Yeah, quite a few of the program miss me out and things because in the process of life, you know, I kind of get sick out on the journey and all them time, I never da listen.
But you get up back now, though?
Yeah, and nature's way, so you don't know.
All right, sir, all right. So you're going to know, just for you, we're going to play one of your father tune them. So. Silvertones.
Well, I know, don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. I want to talk to you about that issue.
Okay, all right, go on.
You know this, because more Jamaica to know this. Well, you know, sir, all right, I work in a company and no motors, then. And, you know, sir, I got a doctor yesterday. Yesterday was Tuesday. I mean, I told nobody yesterday, Tuesday. I got a doctor, I do janitorial work and and I got the doctor. Because I don't feel good in myself. I said, John, you know, I work with a company for 3 years and whenever more time I feel like sick away, I fight my feelings and push out. You know them way there? And I go so, you know, so I'm going to take a day and just go to the doctor and for my regular checkup, you know? Reason with the doctor and thing and him check me because I was a patient. I tell you something, I get sick out. I was a patient in the Bellevue Hospital so I get sick out. And, you know, my recovery and thing, so I get for my regular medication and check up and thing, but I feel weak and I'm struck and I allow to do some work and I feel black out and thing. And I say, you know, you want to rest you out. And I say, I'm going to get my regular check out. I say, nurse practitioner them and then them say, all right, you need to see the bigger doctor them, you know? So him get a review and then him can make you get some leave. So I'm going to say, boom, me on the doctor review me and everything and me as a patient, I outline to him everything, how I feel, my symptoms, because I'm schizophrenic. That's what I was diagnosed with.
You're schizophrenic?
Yeah. According to them and thing. And so, him say, well, I tell him, I tell him my job description, my work, and I tell him, say, I take classes and so him say, I tell him, I study. So him say, where you study? So I say, I study human biology, I study music, I'm study African history. So I say, where you take these classes? So I say, well, no specialties, but like sessions that keep like a bridge and say, all right, last time we have a session on the sun or a meeting on the sun. You know, normally have your gathering and things.
You just go.
Yeah, so that's how we go on with us, reason and information and go do, I just said, do your research. You know? Even tell them take my class through the media, which is programs like an IRFM. So, for instance, now a class me there. And I talk to my teacher. I'm so grateful for that talk to Muta. A class me there right now, and I'm a class is me I take. Them tapes the way I play, you know? Yeah. Information.
Rolling African and all them thing there.
Yeah. Information. So a class me there. This is what I tell him. So him say that's good. So him say apparently then you're doing quite well. It's not like you're sick, but I can see say, well then you need some rest. So I will give you some days. I will give you 7 days leave. It's not like you're sick. Yeah, and so all right now. Effective the 23rd. Effective the 23rd.
The 23rd of October?
Yeah, which is Wednesday.
Yeah.
Cause I went to the doctor Tuesday.
Yesterday.
So I said to him, say, I'm on 1 day vacation leave today, so I would want to write it today. Make it effective tomorrow, Wednesday. Okay, and that's a professional, that's a doctor. And he know my status, he know the status of my sickness and everything. So him say, okay, fine. He write 7 days sick leave. Now, I want to ask you, Muta. 7 days from starting the 23rd. When 7 days will end, the doctor, I said to him, say, so I will go back to work on the 1st. He said, no, 7 days. You go back to work on the 31st. 7 days, 1 week. So I say, okay, fine. Because I did a check it, say, check Sunday or Saturday. But me I say, well, those will be working days.
Right? you know, call that. Oh, so you wouldn't count the Saturday and Sunday night then?
No, because literally me no work on Saturday and Sunday, and that's why me see the doctor look, that's why I'm asking.
You said 7 working day, Gio?
Yeah.
But he must say the 31st?
Yeah, that means he not check Saturday and Sunday. Even the doctor not checking Saturday and Sunday, because Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday.
So where you say wrong with him? Where you say wrong?
No, what I'm saying, when I carry to the workplace now, and get the supervisor.
Oh, they must say something different from what the doctor say.
Yeah, but me I say, she say, here right now, I cannot be sick. She said, no doctor can certify that because me can't sick in the week and not sick on the weekend. So me I say, but I don't understand this. What you mean? So you can determine my health and my sickness. So me can't feel sick Monday, Tuesday, me can't sick Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I feel a little better Saturday and Sunday. I'm sick, I'm feel back sick.
No, but if it's a working days, you know, it don't include Saturday and Sunday, so you don't have to figure out about if you're sick Wednesday and Thursday. From it say 7 working days and 7 working days. Means the day then where you work, and if you don't work on Sunday, it's not included.
It's not included. The woman will make me know say no, doctor cannot authorize that, and me can sick in the week and not sick on the weekend. And that's clearly say that you mustn't go back to work until the 31st because you're on work. And you need to get some rest.
Well, you have the paper out there for sure. Same working there.
I give it to them already.
Okay. Well, you're not wrong with it. You're gone clear then.
No, but what she said, me to come back already 29th.
To the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th.
So she literally, I take her 2 days from me.
Yeah, well, she can't do that.
She can't do that. So, Mr. No, how you should do that? And I'm on top of that, like she had the man to come and work, you know.
So she was the supervisor?
The supervisor.
Man.
See? So if everybody so put it to certain people, the man said, no, leave with the manager.
Yeah, you have to go to the manager. You have to go straight to the manager.
See? But let me tell you another issue now. Them no want you go to the manager.
Yeah, but I know what them want, you know, where you are going to do. I know what them want.
So no, I tell you how them operate.
Yeah.
If you have an issue, the more you put it to them, and if them no feel like getting the money, so them just dash it in the rubbish pan.
Yeah, well, you have to go work it out. You have to work it out because 7 working day means 7 working day. It no means 7 working day including the day them where you're not supposed to work.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. And that is like for sure I live in them. Because some woman call me insurance and I explain to me, my advisor. And she said, no, Rowan, 7 if a doctor includes 7 consecutive working days.
Yeah.
See? So
yeah, well work it out, Bridget, and tell me what happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what happened, but you know Muta?
Yeah.
Me always would have like to have a number.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, blessed man.
Blessed Muta. I want to issue but remember ex-prisoner when talk to you one time.
Who?
Ex-prisoner you then come from prison.
How old you for them we talk to, man?
I'm show you a lot of idea, man, and even if you're not take over a gun or you say, oh, you're not go back here, you say you're no gun, man. Remember that one? Man, not ever again, you know, man.
Me not hear you.
Back up there again.
Him there prison again?
Yeah, 28 years, you're going to get this time.
Where him get 28 years for now?
No, for the same gun thing.
Oh, them just try the case and give him 28 years?
No. You mean not a parole in company?
Yeah, and him skip it?
Yeah, so it look like...
Oh, your sound so blur up, Rasta.
Okay, I put down my back room.
The back room blur. See, they know, yeah, man, talk over everything what you don't say.
Alright. Yeah, I just said you would tell her in the place now, get sentence and go to prison, so he's time to run back the place now.
Which youth? No, you have to remind me to tell me how which youth again.
Okay, now you tell him, Father, Wangi, when him still, Wangi.
Yeah.
Yes, so when he come back from prison at night, when me talk to you now,
well, your words now, you blur up more now.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah, me I hear you, but every time you start talking, it blur up.
Okay. But I hear you clear still.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, when I even come out to the gun now, I'm by I thought in the ship and shoot up much people. It's coming in time, you know?
I don't know where we are going. Believe you me. But you know, come cross. We have to go call again. Believe you me. Call again. Me I tell you.
That's your neighbor down by Treasure Beach pass away.
Which one of them?
At the house beside your one with up there. You heard about her?
No, me just come back. Which one of the neighbor them do? Which one of the neighbor them? I will find neighbor there.
Kinda basically live a foreign man. You know who? Your house in the hills at Treasure Beach, man.
Yeah, me know, but when me I say is enough neighbors, me have a neighbor just beside me, have a neighbor at the foot of the bottom of the hill.
No, the one up near in the hill, in the hills, man, right beside your house. Celia, man, me call him.
Oh, you mean Celia? Yeah. Yeah, me here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Possibly.
So which part you don't get to?
No, man, I live in Mandeville, man, but it's a good
yeah, man, me hear about it. She, Nannyville Affair one, man.
Yeah, Nannyville Affair, yeah.
Yeah, and the house just beside me there, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, me hear about it, yeah.
About it, okay.
All right, give thanks.
Yeah, hold on, hello?
Yeah.
Tell me, the youth that spoke with you a while ago about the leave, vacation leave.
Yeah.
You have to view that thing technically, you know.
Yeah, well, technically, me that look on it.
Yes, because if a man gets sick leave, you can't say no sick in the 2 days, the Saturday and the Sunday.
Yeah, but if the doctor says 7 working days, 7 working days.
You think the doctor can't say that?
No, I mean the doctor can't say 7 working days. No, that him say the doctor say?
It says 7 days.
No, him say the doctor says 7 working days.
I want if you read it correctly.
Well, I don't know what that him say. You never hear him say it.
Yeah, I'm here, but
that's why him say 7 working days.
Working days. If
him say 7 days, it's technical. But if him say 7 working days, a different thing.
A different thing.
Yeah. If him say 7 days, yeah, includes Saturday and Sunday too.
Yeah.
But if him say 7 working days,
yeah, well, yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if
what could doctor say that though?
Well, that him say the doctor say that the right on the paper.
That was 9 days, man. That was 9 days.
Well, I don't know. Him say the doctor said 7 working days. So
that was 9 days.
Yeah.
Because you can't sick. You can't sick up to Thursday.
And no sick 2 days.
And Sunday no sick, and then you go back to sick Monday again.
Yeah. Yeah, me understand the part that you know, but true, him tell me, him insist say it's 7 working days.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, because the supervisor say you can't sick Friday and then say, you know, sick Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And go back go sick Monday. Yeah, but if him say it's 7 working days, you know, it's a different thing. Give thanks still, you know?
Cool.
Yes. Okay, so we're there with you, we're on the last lap, as we would say. All the while we say it. Here goes. They should have go back to the doctor. Believe you me. I think that you should have go back to the doctor and clarify that. You understand? But if him say 7 working days, just 7 working days. I wonder if this is the youth that says 7 working days, not the doctor.